everybody, and thank you for coming along to Catworth's Parish Council meeting tonight. So I declare the meeting now open at 7:32. So the public and press are invited to attend. Please be aware that parish council meetings may be recorded, and indeed you will see that tonight this meeting is being recorded. This is subject to the openness of Local Government Bodies Regulations 2014. We kindly ask that anybody intending to record the meeting please inform the chair or clerk beforehand in order that any necessary arrangements can be made. And that was done in the appropriate fashion. So thank you very much. We will start with the open section. Each person wishing to address the council is requested to direct their question to the chair, who is myself, and you will be allowed to speak for a maximum of 3 minutes, subject to the chair's discretion. So I know we do have quite a few questions for tonight, so if you can keep it as brief as possible, that would be much appreciated. Thank you. This part cannot be longer than 15 minutes in total. Members of the public are reminded that they cannot then participate in any other part of the meeting unless you are invited to do so. So, I know we do have quite a few questions and a couple of short presentations for us. So Derek, yes, do you have a question?
I note on the agenda today that the budget won't be presented until December.
Yes.
When will you be voting on it?
In January.
Right, okay.
So the deadline for submission of presets is not until after the January meeting. Okay. Right, thank you very much. Any other questions from the general public? Okay, so I know that Christopher would like to raise a subject, so I'd like to invite you to speak first, if I may. Thank you.
The London plane tree on the triangle down at the church end, the bottom of Church End and on Church Road, I know has come up in conversation before with the parish council, and I think has done over years gone by as well. But I thought I ought to make aware that it has become yet bigger. It now is really hanging over Michael Holmes's roof, and it's doing its roots are doing damage to his house underneath. They know this. It has the problem seems to be that their worry rather is that if it keeps getting bigger, and it is getting bigger, if it was to blow and fall, which it could get out of hand and do so, it would obviously be extremely dangerous for them and for Pippa and for others, for one. But the consideration is that David Jones, who lives opposite us, knows quite a lot about this, and he's sort of in that world. And he's concerned also that the roots are doing damage to the drains, and our big problem at our end of the village with him and us and Brad and Helen is that when the water comes down from Church End down the road, it veers off to our side. Those two soakaway drains that are there are not doing the job. They get clogged up with leaves, which David and I do our level best to keep clear as best we can. We're not really complaining about that. But then the water is not going away because the roots, we think, have done damage to those soakaway drains as well. Now, we're certainly not looking towards taking the tree down. We don't want the tree taken down with another tree. But our consideration, his consideration, is perhaps if it can be pollarded properly. So not just a little bit taken off the top, but a proper pollard, a la what they've done in Stanford recently, I think is what the point is saying. A, it would give it another 100 years. B, it would alleviate the problem of the roots being too big to cope with the size of the tree, at least for the next probably another 20, 30 years. And you're not going to necessarily alleviate the drains problem, but it would alleviate the clog up of leaves and debris that we get from the tree that clog up the drains along with the water. So I thought it was about time. So I said to David, I would put something to the parish council. I'm not an expert in this. I don't know, how it works, but I do have experience from sort of trees in my past. That's what's needed to do to them. And we certainly don't. We love it. We don't want to take it down. I think people would agree with that.
Okay.
So, and that's where I stand. I think that's as much I need to say. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, this has been raised with the parish council earlier this year. The situation is it is not parish-owned land. Anything that's sort of verge through the village is owned by county council highways. So it was raised with county council. Took quite a while to get any sort of response out of them. But the latest response we had was from Ian Gardner, our county councillor, who advised us earlier this summer that it was being looked at and was being considered. So it has sort of been on, not on our agenda as such, because it's not parish council business per se, but obviously we are here to try and facilitate things, especially when there's an issue like this. So it's sort of dropped off a little bit, I suppose, because Ian Gardner hasn't been to one of our meetings for a little while. Doesn't mean to say we can't contact him, but of course you tend to remember these things when he's actually here. So as you have now obviously raised this, I think it has been a while since we had that information. So I think we will ask the clerk if she can contact Ian Gardner to see if he can give them a bit more of a poke.
Thank you.
Because it has been ongoing for some time, we do appreciate that. As far as the clogging of the drains is concerned from leaves, the drains can be unblocked, and that again is a county council. That's their remit to do that. So firstly, I think we need to chase up Ian Gardner, but also secondly, we could do a report, a highways report, and request that those drains are cleared. Anyone can do that sort of report. All you need to do is take a photo of the drain when it's clogged. So we've been advised this about other drains in the village as well. So take a photo of the drain when it's actually blocked and when there is water that you can see is not going down. So after some rain. So I would suggest that in a couple of days' time might be a really good time because we've got a load of rain coming through. And then on County Council's website there is a...
Agency?
No, County Council.
So
Cambridge County Council. On their highways section of the website, there is a highways reporting facility that you can do online. But if you've got a photo that you can then download, so sort of from your phone or whatever, it can all be done from the phone, that would be great. And then we'll chase up Ian Gardner and County Council just about the whole tree. But certainly as far as the drains are concerned, if you're able to do that, that would be great. Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think we do have another tree as well, which another householder. So I think John's come along tonight as well because he knew there was going to be some talk about trees. There's another tree as well which we're waiting for County Council to come back about. They do seem to be rather sluggish at the moment. So we've got a few things to put in there. So thank you very much for raising that. Thank you. Lovely. Okay. Any other questions at all on trees? No. So we also, I think, tonight have some members here from the pub committee who would like to give us a short presentation about an idea they have to do with the pub. So if I could invite you to do so, that would be...
Okay, I've got a bit of a script that I've written out. So I'm here regarding the pop-up pub's recent request to the Parish Council, requesting your support to submit an application to list a racehorse as an asset of community value with HDC. It's an official list of assets kept by HDC, and these assets contribute, in their words, to the social well-being and community interests. A successful application helps preserve the asset for the community. That wording is also on their website. It stays on the list for 5 years, after which time we can reapply. And for context, there are 24 assets listed on the HDC website, out of which 9 are pubs. The reason a pop-up pub are interested is that securing the future of the racehorse is written into our mission statement, and also the pop-up pub success. We want it to demonstrate community support, and that's also written into our mission. The reason we're coming to the Parish Council is that of the 24 assets listed on the HDC site, 23 were submitted by parish councils, and we would also ask your support as it rather stamps commitment from the community. To write an application, we phoned PCs and collected copies of successful applications. We use these to guide us, and like the other applications, we've included some historical background and venue highlights, and items such as it's a place to meet people when you're new to the village. A lot of us met there for the first time. And a venue for clubs, for family, and for community celebrations. The racehorse can succeed. There are many successful examples in the surrounding villages. To share a few, the George at Spaldwick, the Pheasant in Keyston, the Green Man in Leighton Bromswold, the Mermaid in Ellington, the Reachy, if I could go on. And all of these are assets to their communities, and estate agents will tell you that villages with pubs are considered more desirable, and this reflects in house prices. And that's because villagers typically want a pub. So we've completed sections 2 to 6. What we're asking the Parish Council to do, if you accept, is to complete sections 1 and 7. Section 1 is contact information, and section 7 is a declaration. Any questions?
Any questions at all? Because we do have obviously this on the agenda to discuss within council. For my part, I thought there were some good statements in the proposal that you've put in. But having been involved in quite a few, certainly funding applications, which I know is a little bit different, with HDC and CCC, they are very strong nowadays on wanting proof of community, sort of evidence that the community really want this. So I think your statements are really good. At the moment on the proposal, I wasn't really seeing any evidence that of statistics, basically. And we do have that evidence, which could be put in there, because the survey that the neighbourhood plan team did 2 years ago does have 2 or 3 places where that is, so to show that.
Okay, now we have it too because we keep a record of attendance.
So I think if certainly there may be just some more information perhaps could go on to make the application stronger.
Okay.
We may need to be coming back to you to ask you to do that.
No, I appreciate that.
Whether that we consider that to be strong enough, would you be sort of willing to do even more canvassing now? Because obviously that was 2 years ago. Is that something
I
that
think
pop-up pub
I mean, we've
might
got
consider?
We've got an event this week. We'll have a committee meeting in 2 weeks. So I think I'll probably feel wrong to say yes without talking to the rest of the committee, but I would have thought so.
Okay. If it's HDC, isn't it, that this goes through to? Yeah. If HDC if we agree to do this and they do then designate the pub as an asset of community value, what would you then consider the parish council's role to be from then on?
I'm not sure they're listening, to be honest. I mean, it's once it's on the list, then it just becomes a consideration for any other application to use the asset differently. So I'm not sure we have any input as a community after that.
Okay.
It stays on the list for 5 years. So
Stays on the
after
list.
5 years, you need to reapply again.
Right, okay.
That appears like that's.
But would it be
natural course.
do you think it would still be the community who would then handle any potential purchase?
I think that's separate. I don't think that's. I would say that having it listed as a community asset and a community move to purchase it are two very different things.
I thought they were inherently the same thing, because the point of the asset of value was that it gives the right for the community to purchase and the obligation on the owner to notify the council if it's put up for sale.
Okay.
So if you look,
Yes, that's
if you
what
look
it
for
says.
example at the Hunts DC, the list of assets of community value, the entire right-hand side of the form is the disposal of asset component of it. That's not necessarily detrimental or beneficial in either direction. It's simply and actually if you look at the Hunts DC website, that section that is the main title of the section is community right to bid. It's not actually community asset of value. So it's something we just need to bear in mind as part and parcel, that it's a really good question of, so what? I mean, yes, it goes up there, yes, it's on the list, but actually there's potentially not necessarily an obligation, but a thought process needs to be put in place of what happens as and when we know the racehorse is up for sale. So as and when there is an offer made on it, what do? We then have 6 months to do something about it. It would be great to have a plan of what do we believe that series of events is subsequent to that.
Presumably that's for the team or...
Well, it's for the community. So I think it's a great thing to be looking at. And I think, as Leslie said, I think the statements you put forward are very powerful in terms of why we should care about that. And the implication of us doing this is that we will do something should it be sold on the open market.
Yeah.
So I guess having a plan for that would be a very positive thing.
I guess I've probably only thought about it in terms of trying to preserve it as an asset. We have to go away and have a look and come back to you on that.
Yeah. So it feels like there's a bit more work for all of us to do. But my understanding is the only thing that the list of assets of community value actually does is give you the right to buy. It doesn't really do anything else for the community other than have it there as a thing on the list.
I didn't think that, to be honest. I would have said it's a bit more like, for example, in Village Strand, having an asset that's seen to be of value to the community helps to protect it for planning applications made to use it for something else.
If it were registered as an asset of community value, then it would certainly be in the plan that's that, otherwise it belongs.
See a consideration.
Sorry. But it feels like we may need a bit more information then, because I've not read anything subsequent to receiving the application at the last meeting. I've not read anything that says it does anything in either way to the planning application. It's just about whether or not you have a right to bid on it.
But there were some words that I read out, preserving the asset for the community, that are taken straight out of the HDC information.
Okay.
So it just gives you a breathing space to have 6 months to do something.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have it on the agenda
Would you like me
to
read out
discuss.
what the Hunts DC site says so everyone's clear on it and can talk about it now or do it later? I don't know.
Well, we have it for the council to discuss later on the agenda. This is for us just to hear what the proposal is at this point, and for councillors to actually ask any questions if they have them. Then we will discuss later on.
You know, I agree. Some of the questions you've raised are valid, and the input you've given is valid, and so, you know, we're more than happy to reflect on whatever feedback you give us and see if we can add some more value to it.
Okay, thank you very much. Any
Can
other
I make a couple
questions
of
at all?
comments on that, please?
Sorry?
Can I make a couple of
Yes,
comments on that?
yes, please.
What you say is right on. If it goes up for sale, effectively the village has first dibs, which is a great legal term, isn't it? But there are also some green spaces, for example, that are village assets, and clearly they're not going to go up for sale, and clearly, in my mind, they're there because they want the villagers saying we want to preserve this. And I think there's a couple of benefits that could come from this. If someone tried to get change of use, it would make it more difficult for them, because it's clearly then seen as a village asset. And also, I think too, clear the village asset, and we know the pub is for sale, it would make it more attractive for a pub company or a publican to buy it and spend the money to renovate it and bring it up to shape if you could see it was a village asset and therefore was supported by the village.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not written word for word, but I think that's an opportunity as well.
Okay.
That's not written word for word on their website, but I think that's an opportunity.
Yeah, it's also not really clear on the website what that means for the racehorse. So if we were to nominate it now and it's already for sale, what obligations and benefits do we actually get for it?
Just start the 6 month running again.
Well, no, so if it's already, so my reading of this, and again, I'm not a lawyer, so please bear with me, is that once it's a village asset, there's an obligation on the owner to notify if it's put up for sale.
Yeah.
Well, it's already up for sale. So does that mean
He cuts into that, and if the 6 months starts again, once it's registered.
Okay, we'll consider that later.
Yeah. Do it as a house rather than it would have to be sold as a pub. They would not be able to, if it's a community asset, they wouldn't be able to just change it and build it, make it into flats.
You know what I think this sadly means is that we're going to have to read the assets of community value regulations.
Good luck with that.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions at all? No. So thank you very much for the information there. We are starting to run out of time. I think we just have one other
Can be very
presentation,
quick,
please. So, Mike, yes?
Yeah, just very quickly, you've got the agenda item 11135, which is regarding the neighbourhood plan. I just wanted to give a quick summary of what that is for the members of the public, because obviously you've got a written report from the neighbourhood plan team. I just wanted to sort of set out just purely simply what that was about, so everybody's aware of what we're talking about.
Thank you.
So it's literally sort of, literally less than a minute. Central government has chosen not to renew the grant provision that has supported communities to develop and deliver their neighbourhood plans. Despite this decision, there continue to be a series of compelling reasons for Catworth to deliver our neighbourhood plan. Firstly, we've got a significant enhancement to the community infrastructure levy that will arise from future developments within the parish, there are any. This will enable greater investment in infrastructure and services that the community values. And secondly, the high parishioner engagement in both open day survey responses and open forum events really supported, thoughtfully considered small developments with appropriate infrastructure development and conservation of the heritage and rural identity of our community. The reason for the agenda item is that the neighbourhood plan team are requesting that the parish council steps in to provide the financial support necessary to complete the plan and to enable the goal of scheduling a formal referendum on the plan in 26, probably April, May 26. That's purely and simply what that agenda item is about. Funding removed, we need to find a different source.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, any other questions at all from the public? No. At this point, when we have an HDC or county councillor present, they usually present their reports. At this point, in case anyone in the public wants to ask any questions. We have had apologies from Councillor Ian Gardner, who's our county council councillor. So what I propose is and he has submitted a written report as he can't be here, so I propose I read that out now for everybody so that you know what is going on at the moment.
Excuse me, Leslie.
Hello.
Sorry to be a nuisance. We've got family in for dinner tonight, so I'm going to have to be self.
No, that's fine. No, please, if anyone, yes, if you'd like to excuse, that's fine. Thank you very much for coming along. Thank you. So, report from Ian Gardner, Councillor Ian Gardner, monthly report for November. It's mostly about the local government reorganisation. He says the initial 3 proposals for local government reorganisation in Cambridgeshire were to create 2 unitary authorities, which would undertake all the services currently provided by the county and district councils and the Peterborough Unitary. The proposals are: Proposal A, is Unitary 1 would be Peterborough City, Huntingdonshire and Fenland. The Unitary 2 would be Cambridge City, South Cambs and East Cambs. Another way of making 2 unitary authorities out of the area is Proposal B. Number 1, Peterborough City, Huntingdonshire, Fenland and East Cambs, and then number 2, Cambridge City with South Cambs. And then Proposal C is Unitary 1 of Peterborough City, Fenland and East Cambs, and Unitary 2 being Cambridge City, Huntingdonshire and South Cambs. So as you can see, Huntingdonshire is sort of being banded around all over the place. I understand that all of the district councils and the county councils at the moment are discussing this nearly every week to try and come up with a proposal that everybody agrees with. The 2 Labour MPs for Peterborough and North West Cambridgeshire have proposed a further option, which is option D, which would create 3 unitary authorities in Cambridgeshire, with Huntingdonshire split in 2. Which then would be a Unitary 1, which would be Greater Peterborough, which would incorporate Peterborough City and North Hunts, including the Alconbury and ourselves, the Kimbolton district wards. Unitary 2 would be Mid Cambs, which would be Fenland, East Cambs and South Hunts, including St Neots. And Unitary 3 would then be Cambridge, which would be Cambridge City and South Cambs. Further to this, Huntingdonshire is now proposing an option E, which would be again 3 unitaries, but with Huntingdonshire as its own unitary authority in its own right. Now, for those of you who are unaware of what's going on here, this is being imposed on the whole country by central government, is that everywhere goes to unitary authorities, not as we have it here at the moment, which is county, district and then district. So we have to come up with something, and if the district and county councillors don't come up with something and can't agree, then they run the risk of central government just deciding it for them. So it's a tricky one, and I think the deadline is fast approaching when they have to come up with something that they will agree on. So it's all being banded around all over the place at the moment. So Huntingdonshire is proposing that Unitary 1 would be Huntingdonshire, Unitary 2 would be Peterborough City, Fenland and East Cambs, and Unitary 3 Cambridge City and South Cambs. And so far all the district councils and the county councils have all been voting for different, they've all voted in, for them, different ones. At the full council meeting of the county council, so county council, the Lib Dem administration then put forward option A as its preferred option. This is all on their websites if you want to look it up. This was passed by the Lib Dem administration, who all voted for the motion, including all the Huntingdonshire Lib Dem councillors and 1 Huntingdonshire independent councillor. So that would basically put Huntingdonshire, proposal A, with Peterborough and Fenland, is what they're proposing. So the reason that Ian Gardner and Jonathan Gray, our district councillor, are not here tonight is because they are at one of these meetings where they're still trying to get it sorted. So that's the sort of stuff that's going on. So we're very much, yes, in limbo on that. And this has to be done by 2028, I think it would all happen, yes. The rest of his report, highways. A new highways reporting system went live on the 22nd of September, which is known as the Aurora reporting system. So this is the online reporting system that I mentioned to you earlier on. It introduces several improvements which will enhance the customer experience. All highways defects should be reported on this highways report tool, so that all faults are logged and can be processed according to severity. We do understand, and I think Janine had some involvement in this, we do understand that some of the reports that were on the system prior to this new Aurora system going live did get wiped at the time. So if you reported something that's no longer there, the advice is to report it again. But it will now be dealt with in a much better fashion. Just a new system makes things quicker. Yeah. Other than that, LHI bids, which is local highways improvement bids, for 26 to 27 will open on the 10th of November, so it's now open, and close on the 16th of January 26. Feasibility studies will be undertaken between February and May on the bids, with the panel meetings and decision dates yet to be confirmed. 20 mile an hour scheme applications, so new applications will open on the 26th of January and close on the 27th of March 2026. With the prioritisation programme being undertaken between April and July 26. The successful schemes will then go for approval at the October 2026 committee meeting. So these are fairly usual funding applications that open every year for us. The second consultation on the A141 and St Ives Improvement Scheme is now open. Residents can visit the exhibition in the reception at Newshire Hall in Alconbury Weald between 9 and 4 p.m. Apparently it includes a park and ride site in Brampton. That consultation closes at midnight on the 19th of November 2025. All this information can be found on County Council's website. Further thing, it's quite a long report this one. Stay safe, warm and well this winter. As temperatures begin to drop, the County Council has relaunched its #BeWinterWise campaign. The County Council will be sharing practical advice, local support and simple actions that help everyone keep safe, warm and healthy this winter, from winter safety and health advice to the cost of living support. You can follow the campaign on Facebook, LinkedIn and Instagram by searching #BeWinterWise. You can also keep up to date with the latest traffic and travel updates by following @CANS lower, what's it called? Lower underscore, that's the word, thank you. At CANS lower underscore traffic on X. Flood resilience. The County Council has launched a new flood resilience campaign called Prepare to help residents and communities across the county become more resilient to flooding by taking simple, proactive steps. The campaign focuses on how to check your flood risk, how to create a personal or household flood plan, how to assemble a flood kit, and who is responsible for the various types of flooding. As part of the campaign, practical advice and resources will be shared via the Council's website and social media channels, including support to form or join a local flood group. And that's the end of Ian's report. That was a very long report this month. So if you have any questions on any of that, we can put them to Ian Gardner. As time is getting on, I would request if you do have questions, perhaps if you could pop them in writing to us, and we will then forward them to the appropriate place. So thank you very much. So that is the end of our open section. So from this point on, the public just reminded that you cannot participate unless we invite you to do so. So continuing with the meeting. Item 11.130. Yes, if anyone wants to leave at this stage, please do. Thank you for coming. Thank you very much. Thank you. To receive and accept apologies and receive reasons for non-attendance.
So we have Councillor Claire Millington who sent apologies for reasons which were shared with councillors, and also our County Councillor Ian Gardner, who is at another big meeting.
Thank you. 11.131. Declarations of interest. To receive declarations of disclosable pecuniary and other interests, and the nature of those interests relating to items on the agenda. To receive written requests for the new disclosable pecuniary interest dispensations. So I understand that we have received a written dispensation from Councillor Christopher Bales. Which way round is your name tag? Oh, you're correct. Christopher, okay. Thank you.
Okay, I've got my two, sorry.
Okay. With regard to item 11/135 Part B. So, are we all in agreement with that dispensation? I do have it printed out if anyone wants to look at that.
Yeah.
Do we vote? Do we have to vote on it? Yeah. Okay. So if we've all had a chance to look at that, if I could please have a proposal to accept that dispensation.
Yeah, I propose we accept it.
Okay, so from Dan Green, and a seconder please to accept. Okay, so from Janine Turner. All those in favour?
Thank you.
Thank you. Unanimous. Thank you very much. Item 132, to receive Huntingdonshire District Council and Cambridgeshire County Council's reports. We've already reported on those. We don't have a report from HDC this time. Item 133, to receive and approve the Parish Council meeting minutes held on the 13th of October 2025. Do I have a proposal to approve
Sorry,
those?
just one. I've got a declaration of interest.
Sorry, Dan.
That's all right,
Sorry,
no
you did say.
Yeah, it's one, not
too
two.
quickly.
There's no grass cutting on there this month. But I'm newly on the committee of the pop-up pub, so I need to declare an interest in item 11/136, which is to do with the application.
Okay. Do you need to declare an interest in that? Because it's not a pecuniary matter, and you don't have any financial liabilities.
I'd rather say about it though than not.
Yes. So I don't know that we need to actually note anything on that.
Okay, that's fine.
Because if we did, then neighbourhood plan committee members would have to declare interest in that or anything, because it's a community thing. So yes, I think you should be free to speak.
I think the key is we're satisfied there's no conflict.
Yeah. Okay. I've raised
I will mention that.
Mention
that's
that,
fine.
yes.
No conflict of interest. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Sorry, backtracking then. And does anybody else have any interests they would like to declare? No? Okay. So, item 133. To receive and approve the minutes from the meeting held on the 13th of October 25. Do I have a proposal for the approval of those, please?
Yeah, I propose. I just noticed that my initials, I think, became DB in some of the early entries.
Oh, I don't know. I've
So
made a note
as long
of
as
that.
if that's amended, then
There's two, which 10, 11, 12 and 10, 11, 18. Dan's become DB on both of those.
Okay. You became that.
yeah, my brother-in-law.
Okay.
Sorry, I did spot that, but I'm
We will
DG.
amend
I'm
it.
DG towards the end.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check
It will
that.
be
I'll
amended.
check that when we
Yeah, that's fine.
sign it then. Okay.
But-
So, subject to correcting councillors' initials
Yeah, I
from
propose-
DB to DG.
Yeah, propose that they're a true and accurate reflection.
Okay, thank you very much. And a seconder, please. Thank you, Janine. And all those in favour? We weren't here, so that's fine. Yes. Thank you. Okay, I will now sign these. If you bear with me a moment. So those ones, it's item 112. If I can make sure we have them corrected. Yes.
If you can initial, please.
I noted 112 and 118. Let's see if that helps.
And 118.
Yes.
There are many people in the village who believe we are the same person.
There
are.
I know you're different.
Yeah. Yeah.
So is it just those two?
I think so. Yeah.
If you find another one while I'm signing the pages off, let me know.
Yeah.
I love this. This is my favourite part of the meeting. There's a lot of pages.
Yeah, just those two.
Sorry?
It was just those two areas, that's it.
Okay, thank you. I'm slacking then. I usually check the initials very carefully when I go through.
I'd read it once, but I only spotted it this afternoon when I reread through it.
I saw it this morning.
Fine, because I did that one about 3 weeks ago.
In the corridor.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Okay. Item 134, planning. 134.1, Huntingdonshire Local Plan to 2046. For Council to note that the preferred options paper, recently released, made no site allocations for Catworth. So the Council now has to consider the response to the public consultations. The consultations will run, and they are now open, from the 5th of November until the 17th of December. The preferred options draft local plan to 2046 is available for anyone to view and comment between those dates. You can select a link which is shown on our agenda in order to do so, and the same with the sustainability appraisal of the preferred options. We have a link which we have put on our agenda, which can be found on our website if you want to go and make any comments. As far as Council is concerned, I think because those consultations have only just opened, we haven't had time to consider all of those. So I propose that we defer that consideration and those comments until next meeting, and in the meantime that our planning group meet to look at it in detail and give their recommendations to the rest of Council. Are we all in accordance with that?
Yep.
Everything's only just been released. Okay, so we will defer giving those comments till next time. Yes.
Provided next time is before the 17th.
It is. Our next meeting is on the 10th.
Because we do change the meeting date sometimes when people can't make it. So. It's unusual to change, yes. The only reason we've changed is because Ramuna had a holiday booked, yeah. What's the date of our next one? The 10th. So, yes, so we meet on the 10th, so we'll be able to get the response then before the 17th, yes. So, yeah. So we shall do that, and I will put some dates out to the members of the planning group then for us to have a meeting, probably towards the end of this month, beginning of December, to give us all a chance to read through the 459-page document. Yes, it is rather onerous. Not all of it is relevant to us. So. Okay, thank you. Item 134.2, the Brampton Cross Working Group monthly meeting. Councillors Chris Bales, Jeff Price and Janine Turner have been attending these meetings variously. Is there anything extra to report since last meeting?
So really, the only activity there has been the fact that because of the local reorganisation, there's a lot more power being divested to the mayor, and he will have a say on any development consent orders, any major planning works. So where they were probably this time last year, they were indicating expecting to get to development consent order stage by about now. What they're saying now is because there's a lot of input and it has to go up to the mayor, that timeline has slipped out, and they're not expecting to get anywhere near DCO stage before maybe Q3 of 2026. So we've slipped 3 months in the previous meeting. We've slipped a further 6 to 9 months, really. But it does give the Brampton Cross team time to collate their arguments and engage with the public.
Right. Okay.
So that is their plan.
So nothing too urgent at the moment, but also you don't want it to just go to sleep.
No.
Yes.
So we presented the information that we agreed last time.
Yep.
To the meeting, and it was, I think it's fair to say, Janine, that it was fairly representative. Most parishes were concerned about the traffic impact in some way. So.
Okay, thank you very much. So are you three still happy to be engaged? Obviously you don't all have to all three be engaged every time, but between you, to keep an eye on what's going on.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Yes, so thank you for your involvement with that and representing Catworth. Yes. Okay, thank you very much. Item 134.3, any report from the planning working group. So on any other planning related matters that may have cropped up. So the planning working group is myself, Chris, Dan.
So I had a very quick look after lunch today, and there've been no planning applications and no decisions, assuming I'm navigating the website correctly, but you can bound it by parish. There's nothing occurred within the Catworth parish.
Oh right. Okay.
In the last
nothing new. Yeah.
30 days or so.
Okay. Anything?
I
think, unfortunately, a planning application that was put in that the parish council did support was for an additional garage in Station Road, the right up next to. I don't know your address. 63, yes. 63 Station Road, which the Parish Council did support. Unfortunately, HDC decided not to at this point. So, yes. So, just so that we know, yeah, it's useful sometimes to know what HDC do and don't do. So.
Did they provide any feedback on that as to why, or is it just a no?
To do with it being forward of the property.
Yeah.
So in front of the property and the size and mass. So there were about 3, I think, reasons, unfortunately. So yes, so for the householders to consider what they want to do next. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I think there are also various planning applications, despite the fact that HDC haven't supported them in their draft local plan, for a couple of very large sites in Kimbolton going on, which planning applications have come in anyway, even though they weren't supported by the local plan. So these applications can be commented on by any private individual. As a council, HDC haven't come to us for comment. So, but private individuals can comment if they wish to. So go onto their website, HDC's planning portal, and you can make comments.
So can I just run through what they predominantly are?
Yes.
2046 local plan ongoing until the 17th of December. is the one that we've just been discussing. The 190 homes off east of Stowe Road in Kimbolton, that closed for comments in September. So I know certainly one or two of us put some comments in individually. East Park Energy Solar Farm, that is coming to a point where it will be ready for comment and consultation. So I would urge people to have a look at that and just understand the size and pure scale of what's being proposed. And going back to what you were saying, I think perhaps even if we're not engaged by HDC, we just treat that as an oversight and perhaps put comments in where appropriate, where we feel we can represent people of Catworth, but without discouraging individuals from putting theirs in.
So do we think that would be appropriate to have that on our agenda next time for us to be commenting on that?
Or
Councillors, like an agenda item?
I believe so.
Well, it's not yet open, but
it's not yet
imminent.
open.
Yes, it's imminent for consultation comments. Because this won't be coming from HDC or from Bedford Borough, it's gone straight to central government because of the size of it. So we wouldn't ordinarily get asked for comment, but we can as a council make a comment and people as individuals can comment. So if council think it's appropriate for us to do so once it opens, to do so, we can put that as an agenda item and we can then make a comment.
Let's have it as an agenda item and
yes.
discuss it.
Are we happy for us to do that? Okay, I mean obviously it's not within our parish, but the implications, there are quite a lot of knock-on effects.
Could I please have the reference or any description for the minutes, please, of the site?
It's just called East Park.
East Park Energy.
Park Energy, that's it. Yeah.
East Park Energy Solar Farm.
Solar Farm. Thank you.
Item 135, neighbourhood plan. To receive a written report from the CatNip team, which is a volunteer-led working party of the Parish Council. So Mike is the team leader. He read out a brief synopsis of the report. Councillors have all been sent the full report on this, which you've had time to read, so it will be taken as having been read. The proposal, firstly, is to consider and approve Part A, which Chris is involved in. It's Part B that he won't be. So to consider and approve the funding of external consultants to finalise the draft neighbourhood plan following withdrawal of all government grants for neighbourhood plans. So I think I can pass over to Jeff with any explanations on this.
I assume everyone's read it.
No, we take it as being read.
We take it as being read.
Yes.
So are there any questions?
So what about the report and what about the practicalities?
Yeah.
It really wasn't clear to me what was being delivered for £10,000.
Okay.
So there was a sort of an estimated amount to do consultant stuff to complete the report, but I would usually expect from a consultancy agreement a set of these are the things that are going to be delivered as a result of spending the money. So it would be good to understand what.
Okay, can I answer that question first?
Please do.
Yeah. So if you look on slide or page 4, the anticipated costs that will be covered are listed in there, and they are taken from a quote from a consultant.
Right. Okay.
So those are the details, and we've got a formal quote as well, which I think I can share as necessary. So this is just to give everybody else the opportunity. We're probably about 75 to 80% there. And having spent quite frugally over the last 3 years, having spent from the Parish Council's funding £500 in year ending 23, and then from funding from the government grants of £1,800 and then 750 in the following year, which is pretty good, and most of that covers printing costs, survey costs, etc. So to get it to the next stage, considering this project's been going on since 2022, so just over 3.5 years, we need that final bit to round the report off to get it through the stages, so then we can have it through the examiner and then put it to the parishioners as a referendum in April or May next year. So it's those final leg, the final couple of miles, as we say, to get it to a position whereby we're comfortable that it will go through, and that involves it would be used, like a lot of neighbourhood plans, with some consultants, which obviously would ordinarily be funded. This is the figure that's in there is of 10,000 is there to, it is not to as a target to spend. It's a current way of working, which is relying on volunteers and goodwill of those people to make sure that we deliver what we said we would, with the highly attended and participation of the village, or parishioners, I should say. So there's a lot of regulation 14 and consultation, which is beyond some of us, the limited scope that we have on these things. So it's about paying for the right people to do the right job, just like when you repair your wheels on your car or something, you get what you pay for. And it's time being quite critical. Does that answer the question, Ollie?
I believe so, yes. Sorry, I'm struggling to get the...
Yeah, so it's the anticipated cost
I read it, I
is
couldn't
what the
remember what
consultant...
page.
No, that's fine.
Thank you.
I think as far as the team is concerned, we'd certainly, as of about where we got to about 2 years ago, for the last 2 years, we always anticipated that we would be using consultants to finish the plan off. Because at that time government was providing funding to do so. So we didn't think that was going to be an issue, because we knew that the back end of the plan is where it gets very technical. There's a lot of legal stuff going on, and we would need someone to review what we've done so far and say what else actually needs doing in order to complete. So when the government just removed the funding overnight earlier this summer and said we're not opening it up for this next year, it was a surprise to us, it was a surprise to HDC as the lead planning authority. So we've actually spent the time since then not writing the plan, but considering what to do and looking at what we think we can still do ourselves and what we can't. So yeah, we'd always expected this back end bit to be the bit where we're really spending the money. So, yeah.
It's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah, and
It
yes,
is a
Jeff,
lot of money.
If you could share the proposals, that'd be great, because it
Yes.
just helps understand it.
Yeah.
Can we just touch momentarily on the impact of having a plan versus not having a plan on the amount of SIL money that becomes available? Because without the difference between having a plan and not having a plan unlocks £39,000 worth of available SIL money. It puts us into another category.
Sorry, Chris, can I just interrupt?
Sorry, is that...
No, that is right, but that's based on an illustrative example. So rather than just... I'll just explain how we got to that number, because I think it's important. So without a neighbourhood plan, you're capped at how much SIL you can receive. And that's a function of the number of dwellings that are in scope. Okay. So within the village, at the time that we've got the most recent data, there's 169 dwellings, and the maximum that we can get is £100 per dwelling. Okay, so that's £16,900. Now, if we assume, and we're taking this assumption based on the survey, which we've all hopefully contributed to. So if we said that there was to be 10 3-bedroom semis and 4 4-bedroom detached houses, okay, that is in the ballpark of where the mean is of where people's preferences. So with the sill, with that cap, without a neighbourhood plan, we would receive £16,900. With exactly the same mechanics, with a neighbourhood plan, that leaps up to nearly £57,000, so the additional £40,000, which we can then use to spend on stuff in the village to make the village better.
So it's specifically on infrastructure.
On infrastructure.
So it will be infrastructure to improve the village as a result of any large developments.
So I'll quote the legislation. I'm not going to go into all the various planning acts, etc. But the definition allows the levy to be used to fund a very broad range of facilities, such as play areas, open spaces, parks and green spaces, cultural and sports facilities, healthcare facilities, free schools, heating schemes, police stations, and then a broad caption of other community safety facilities. So you can see the virtue of having that if, let's say, we don't have one today, and we did have one today, if there's some new housing constructed.
So yeah, I think if there was new housing, then that's obviously a no-brainer.
Yes.
But obviously the local plan draft that's just come out indicates that there's not going to be any.
Yeah.
In which case that's a big lot of money to put into something that may not ever pay itself back. Just as a looking at it from the other angle.
I take that view, yeah.
But,
However, yeah.
as Kimbolton are finding, just because it's not in the local plan, it doesn't stop developers from putting in planning applications. And in fact, not just in Kimbolton, but I understand in other areas within the district.
Yep.
Some sites that were proposed for allocation that have not been allocated, those developers have put in planning applications anyway.
Yeah.
So there is still that possibility that planning can go ahead. Just because the local plan doesn't actually allocate sites doesn't stop planning applications from going ahead or from using that in order to get a windfall site. So HDC are quite happy to have windfall sites. So it is something that without a neighbourhood plan, because the neighbourhood plan has other benefits, not just giving us extra money, it will help to govern the type of development, the type of buildings, the style of that development, and protecting some places actually from unwanted development in that place. Without the neighbourhood plan, we wouldn't get those things either, should a planning application come in. So we would be at the mercy of the developers to do whatever they want to do in the style that they wish to do it. So it's not just about getting more money for the parish. It is to do with making sure that any developments are done as people have said they wanted to do in the survey.
Yeah. Which is the rationale. I know we started with the money because that's the sort of draw in, but the key thing really is the feedback from the survey where we had a 67% completion rate and we had clear engagement and policies that have come out of that, which I know many of you attended when we had the open forum and the open day as well. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know, obviously the neighbourhood plan, they've been working away, haven't you, for years on it, and you're keen to get it finished, which I can understand. Assuming that we don't have £10,000 just sitting there ready to go, I mean, that would have to go through the precept of...
Yes, so I can touch on the money side, but if I could come back to your second point.
It's on the money side.
It's on the practicalities, yeah?
The practicalities specifically being, my understanding is we don't have a statutory duty to complete a neighbourhood plan. It becomes statutory having been completed, but it's optional in the first place. Mm-hmm. So how do we allocate £10,000 to it?
Okay, right.
Because we can't do it under section 173.
137.
That's that one, 137.
Yeah.
It's 60-odd% of our precept, so it's massive.
Yes. So, if you're happy, are you happy for me to talk the numbers? Right. Okay. So, as you know, the finance team have recently convened, as recently as last Thursday, to do a draft of where we're going to be in terms of the funding that we've got available and forecasted to have in the bank at the end of March 2026. So currently, and this is reflective of what we call the October actuals and then the forecast for the year. So I know we're going to come on to some finance elements later, but those are taken into account in our forecast. So the cash that we had at bank, and this is again, if we take the view of a bank account rather than reserves, and we just call it the cash at bank because that's the way that the parish council's accounting works. No accruals accounting or anything. So if we assume that our best estimate is going to land where we say it's going to land, at the end of March we will have £14,000 in the bank account. Okay. So there's some SIL, which we'll come on to later because I've got a point to raise about it, which is potentially repayable now, which hasn't been taken into account in that 14,000, so we've gone to 12.5. And so that is the reserves that we will have in our bank account as at the end of March. The precept comes in April next year, which is, and to the point that was made earlier, the application for the precept is a very simple form, which is one number which we'll agree on as a council on the basis of the finance group making a recommendation. That money will come in April. So there's a timing difference on the money. So we could argue that some of it could be in this year and some of it could be in next year, depending on when we have the referendum and when we get to that point in time. But there are other sources of income which I'm not allowed privy to take in this conversation, but that will happen after this meeting as well. So the money is there, and when we prepare the budget for next year, we'll obviously have to look at what the costs are for the various things that we look after. Obviously, the clerk and the street lighting and any other variables as well. So technically, the money is there to be spent. There's the appetite from the community to do it as well. Yes, it will probably result in, and just managing expectation, possibly a lift up in the precept for next year. However, given the benefits that accrue as a result of having the neighbourhood plan and the desirability to actually put it into the local plan and say where we want to be, I would welcome the support to carry on and with. Again, the 10,000 is at first sight quite alarming, but when you work it out per rate per hour for a professional to come in and do that, it seems very competitive. And if we can get it down to between 7,000 and 8,000, fantastic. I'm not making any promises at the moment because there's some unknowns, but we're saying 10,000 is what we would like from the council to have the support over to complete.
So it's very much that is very much a ceiling. The team are looking to again try and input as much as we possibly can to make sure that we don't actually need to use all of the consultant services.
I think my question is more a technical one. Are we allowed to spend that much
Well, I know that other parish councils, obviously we're not the only ones in this situation where we've lost the funding, other parish councils have been funding.
Yeah. So sorry, I know we are allowed to fund non-statutory duties up to £11.10 per precept contributor. So you can fund up to that amount. The amount we're talking about is well above that.
Yeah.
I simply don't know technically how we are allowed to do so.
Okay, if I refer back to when we went through the process of the streetlights, I know I wasn't here, but I've got the data as well. So that was a significant capital investment that was agreed by council. Again, I can't comment where, but if we take the same position as that topic there, where it wasn't included in the precept, but there was an accumulation of reserves because council had agreed to set that amount aside. Now, if we would have known that this would have, the government funding would have been, but again, it's a known, isn't it? And it was clearly a shock because we'd only just returned the money, whereas, and then they said, no, we're not going to fund it anymore. So, ideally, it is there as reserves. The money that we receive from via the council tax, via the Hampton District Council for us, is here to spend for the good of the village rather than sit in the bank, and this seems a good topic to spend that money on.
I mean, Ramuna, do you know where that would sort of as in the statutory situation? All I know is that because Leighton Bromswell sort of consulted the team because they started their neighbourhood plan about a year ago, I believe.
So if
and their parish council is funding from an earlier point than ours. They just went straight in with consultants all the way through. They said we're not prepared to do it ourselves. So that was a substantial amount, and I know they've obviously found that they can do it because it would be above that limit.
If we can see how they found that. So just from the search, because I did a bit of searching before this to understand the position. If I just Google search what we're talking about, street lighting is a statutory duty if it doesn't fall to district or county council. Graveyards, Christmas lights, they all fall under defined statutory duties of a parish council. If you search for neighbourhood plan, it explicitly says that it is not a statutory duty, it's optional. Mm-hmm. If it were statutory, there's a really easy way to do it, is we start looking at section 137, etc. Yeah. The fact that it's not is why I'm asking the question of technically how do we. I'm not saying we shouldn't do it by any stretch. I personally believe that the neighbourhood plan is a good thing to do. I do not comprehend how we are allowed to do to the level that we're talking about.
So what does it mean by the optional bit then?
So it's because so there are statutory duties that a parish council must perform, and we can do any amount of money, broadly speaking, to perform those duties. If we're doing something non-statutory, section 137 allows us to spend up to £11.10 per precept contributor for non-statutory stuff, which is a lot less than £10,000. I don't know how the other parish councils justified this funding. If we can find a way to justify it, I would certainly say, I believe, yes, we should be doing the neighbourhood plan. I don't understand the technicalities of how we do that, and we should not be stepping into a legal position.
No, thank you, Ollie. I will go away and I will investigate that.
Brilliant, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
No other questions on what was circulated? No? Okay, no. Great.
Okay. So the motion was to consider and approve the funding of external consultants. So are we in a position to be able to do that at this point in time?
I don't feel we are until we've answered Ollie's question, and therefore we don't go on to part B either at this moment in time, if everyone's happy with that.
Agreed.
Yeah, and we'll just talk about it at the next meeting.
Yes.
That's
no,
what I wanted to do.
Okay, yes, thank you very much. So we will defer that and return to that next meeting. Yes. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. And thank you, Jeff, for explaining everything too.
That's good.
Okay, thank you. Item 136 is the proposal, a proposal to consider and approve the application received from the Pop-Up Pub Community Volunteer-led Committee for the Racehorse Pub to be designated as an asset of community value. So would anybody like to lead on this? Obviously we had the presentation earlier today.
Can I, sorry, hear me again if that's okay?
Everyone can speak, so
So just using the results of the survey, which has been very fruitful as well, although the survey was performed in December, 2023 now, let's just say 2 years ago. If you go to slide 33 in that deck, where there was a specific question on the use of the pub, although the pub did open on the 16th of February 2024, there's overwhelming desire by the community to have a pub. 59% of people would like to see it still used as a pub, which is encouraging. And then how the previous question on slide 32, where how important to you are the following current facilities, and the pub is heavily dominant there as 80% being important and very important. So on the basis of, I know it's a couple of years out of date and I know the pub came, but there does seem to be an overwhelming support for it. So
I would go on to question 3 as well, which is on page 33, specifically about what do people think the pub should be used for. And part 5...
The answer is a shop or similar.
Yeah. Shop or similar, but part 5 only used as a public house.
Yeah.
We had sort of, 59% of people who agree or strongly agree that it should only be used as a public house. So it's still the majority there. So, yes, so those are the stats that we do have with regard to the public house and how the community feel about it. So generally I would agree that it would seem that people would like to retain the pub.
It would probably be borne out by attendance.
But obviously what we're looking at here is not necessarily, not just do people want it to stay as a pub, but should we be designating it as an asset of community value?
I'm going to have to sit in the devil's advocate shoes again,
no,
because nobody else is doing so. There are 2 points that I'd like to raise from the conversation we've just been having. The first one is that the village has already voted with its feet on whether to have a pub or not, because several people have not been able to keep it running. And it needs a minimum amount of money spent in the pub for it to be a viable business. And Catworth, on several opportunities, has not done that. So there is a difference between what we actually do with our money and what we say in the surveys. And if we look at what the survey says, it's not a pub, which is the majority vote, it's a village shop, which is the majority vote. So I think we need to be a little bit careful with the statistics and the way that we're quoting them. To Pippa's point earlier, you're absolutely right in some of the planning consent stuff, so I looked it up whilst we were talking. It does not automatically prevent a change of use, but it must be a material consideration for local planning. So something that we should bear in mind is if we put the community value statement forward, we have predisposed any judgment the parish council might make on a planning consent that comes through, because we've already said explicitly that this material consideration is something that we back. So we would have to put it forward as the prime material consideration should a planning application come through. So we should think about that in the way that we put this forward, because we should be objective. I know that we're all actually inherently biased because we're human beings, but our job is to try and represent the community objectively. So we need to think about all of the implications of the decisions we make. Devil's advocate has
No, not at all. No, that's what we need to hear, all the different, all different aspects. Anyone else over here want to add anything to the discussion?
How many people have been in the pub? Fairly new to the village. I know Richard and Gemma were there for the year. When was Gordon last trading? Was that fairly recently, or was there quite a gap between? Just to give some history.
6 or 7 years.
I think it's been 8 years since it was open as a pub, and Gordon ran it as the landlord at that point in time. Prior to that, I've been in the village about 20 years. Pippa, you've been here longer. I must have seen 5 or 6 landlords.
We came with Chris and Shirley, and it has been run quite successfully, really.
Sorry, if we're going to interrupt.
Can we close the meeting? Sorry, I did mention Pippa, so that was my fault. My apologies.
Are we all happy to close the meeting to get some additional
Yes,
information from the floor?
Thank you.
Yes. Okay. So the meeting.
Sorry,
closed.
Pippa, that was my fault.
Sorry, carry on.
Pipe up. Yeah, we came, Chris and Shirley were running it very successfully. Gordon had run it before. It was due for closure, and Gordon actually saved it and ran it, and as I understand it, and then he then had managers in, and I think there was another Jonathan, was there?
Yes, and then there was Dave.
Yeah, there are a few managers going through, but it wasn't necessarily that it was run. Not quite sure how to say it.
It's had a very difficult history in terms of.
Sometimes, as a landlord, Gordon wasn't probably as helpful to its success as he could have been. Not quite sure how to say that.
No.
But it does have the potential to be successful, but it does need a lot of work doing to it.
I've never seen beyond the...
It needs a massive amount of work.
Sorry, I'll...
Sorry, yes.
Thank you.
We'll open the meeting again now, please. Thank you. I mean, my understanding is the pub is a listed property, but it is listed. So it's a listed pub. So that listing in itself presumably will give some protection to the fact that it needs to remain as a pub. And it's certainly up for sale at the moment as a pub, not for conversion to anything else.
Yeah, it does indicate, there's a paragraph towards the end of the particulars that does kind of put out there that it might be suitable for something else.
Oh, does it? Okay, I haven't seen the particulars.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, even the fact that it is listed as a public house?
Yeah.
Okay.
From my point of view, I think the viability of the pub is very different depending on who it is that's looking after it. The racehorse with brewery support would, just to get the business launched, will be a very, very different prospect to a community-led kind of event. Is there any support we can provide to try and make it more attractive to breweries?
I don't know.
Is that perhaps an avenue that we could look at?
I think that ties in with the pop-up pub, doesn't it? The pop-up pub being used shows the support for a gathering place for it.
So what we're considering here is not necessarily the viability of the pub, but should we get it listed as an asset of community value? So obviously just looking at that as a specific question. So what does it mean to have an asset of community value? What does that do? What does that designation do? So do we know? Because the presentation we had earlier didn't actually tell us.
I think more work needs to be done by the pop-up pub team.
Yeah.
The prospect of a community asset that hasn't been open for 8 years, apart from a very small period, and it wasn't successful. That's counting against it. Potential, well, high potential, and the trade in pubs. Yes, there are some local success stories, but they are quite rare as well. But again, that's not us, down to us to assess the financial stability of it.
Because I know that the presentation earlier stated that it's to try and give it protections so that it has to remain as a pub. My understanding of an asset of community value is that what that designation is doing is basically putting a hold on the sale of the property for 6 months to give the community the opportunity to get together and put a bid
Shall I read the specifics?
Yes,
it's a little bit different.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
It's just what it means to, what does it do?
If anything on the list of assets of community value comes up for sale or lease, freehold or a lease of at least 25 years, then the owner must notify the Constable. Hunts DC will then notify the nominee, so whoever's put forward the nomination as an asset, and the parish or town council, and will publicise this in the local area. A 6-week period will then start in which the asset can only be sold or leased to a community group. During this period, any community interest groups may make a written request to the council to be treated as a potential bidder. If a request is received in time, this period can then be extended to 6 months, providing additional time for the group to raise funds and put together a bid to buy the asset. These rights do not restrict the sale price, and they do not give community organisations a right of first refusal. After the restricted period has expired, the owner of the listed asset can then sell their property to any buyer for the remainder of an 18-month protected period.
So basically it gives a 6-month period during which...
Right, so it gives you a 6-week period within which you can make an application, that
okay.
could be extended to 6 months. It doesn't give
Okay.
the criteria upon which that judgment's made.
So you put an application in, and then if that's accepted, then
Yeah.
You've got
So
6 months to actually get the money
If
together.
Hunts DC reads the email within that period of time, then they might do something about it. Then a separate search, it's not explicit on the Hunts DC website, but a separate search runs to the point that was made earlier that being an asset of community value is a material consideration in planning.
Okay.
The other alternative
So that's the protection bit that we were told
Yeah.
about earlier, so that it
Yes.
has to... Yeah. Okay.
The other alternative is 21 parishioners do it themselves, but as was stated earlier, it does help if it's 23 out of the 24, I seem to remember, of the assets listed are backed by the council. So can I propose that we defer it until we see what the pub team come up with, and then similar to the neighbourhood plan, then we can put a bit more information.
So what questions do we want to go back to them with then?
So I think the conversation we had earlier was the so what. What is the plan should this go forward? Is this a motion where we are solely trying to prevent change of use? So make it a material planning application issue? Is it something where we do expect to have a community backing for a potential purchase in future, knowing that the property is on the market at the moment? Why are we doing this? And just being really clear with one another about the purpose.
Okay, I mean, for me as well, if we were to go ahead with this and it were to be given the designation, I would also want to know then what is the expectation on the parish council as to what their involvement would then be should the 6-week and 6-month thing go ahead.
Well,
would it be the parish council who have to actually do the work? Is it the parish council that would have to get the funding together if people say we want to do this?
No,
or is it the community?
It's any community interest group
Any
can take
community
that on.
interest.
So there's no obligation to do so.
But we act as the initial facilitator to receive the notifying period.
Yes.
So we would be the facilitator, not the driving force behind putting a bid together then? It's just
That
the
would be our
name
choice
there.
rather than...
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
I think I read on one of the websites before the meeting that it is a common practice to come through a parish council, the application, for a number of different reasons.
Did we do it before? Because this isn't the first time that the pub's been put forward as a community asset. I don't know if the previous one was supported by the parish council or not. Does anyone?
If it was before my time. I'm not aware of it having been done before.
Perhaps we can ask the district council, maybe.
I don't know if there's a list of old assets.
Okay. Right, so a few questions to go back, plus the questions that I raised earlier, which is to do with the proving that the community do want this as well. So yeah, the stats we've got here, and whether Pop-Up Pub want to consider going to a wider survey again, specifically on this question, because the neighbourhood plan survey didn't specifically ask, do you want this to be designated as an asset of community value? Yes, it do you want to still have a pub? Not quite the same thing.
Yeah.
So perhaps for the committee
Details
to
of
consider.
their, they take a register as well during every pop-up pub, so they can provide
Yeah.
information on
That's
that's
Yeah.
following, isn't it?
Yes.
That, that's real
Yeah, how
people
many
that are
people come along.
actually actively attending as
Yeah.
well, not just saying they'd like it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is good evidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if the proposal does go forward, we will need some stronger evidence on there. Okay. So if I can just close the meeting for a moment, just to ask the pop-up pub representative here. Have you made a note of the questions we've had? Do you want us to put that in writing to you?
Well, both of you. I've made a note, but it would be great if you can send me something so that or I can send you something. Make
Yeah.
sure I've captured everything.
Okay. Okay, yes, thank you. Reopen the meeting, please. So, can we have someone to sort of prepare that? Obviously it will come from the parish clerk, but have we got anyone here who would be willing just to write out those questions that we've got for the pop-up pub?
I can try and do a first draft and share it.
Do a first, yes?
That's good of you, Ollie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Happy to review.
That would be good, yes. Yes, you do a first draft for us and then we'll, yes, send it out to us and we'll review it. That would be really helpful, thank you. I asked you because you've been doing all the work on the computer for us, so you're finding out all this information.
Try and make it useful.
Thank you very much. So we will do that, I can't guarantee when, but as soon as we can. Yes?
Perfect.
Okay, thank you. Moving on. 137, implementation of Martin's Law. To note for councillors that this is a new law to do with terrorism, and we believe, discussed this with the parish clerk, that it is actually for the village hall committee to implement this and not the parish council, as we do not have responsibility for the village hall building or its activities. So it's to do with activities within a community space. So we're suggesting that we pass the enquiry to the village hall in case they have not yet received this information themselves. Chris?
I think we need an understanding of it because this is our go-to location for any community events. And we have had in the past, unfortunately, an incident happen in here with members of the public present where we've had to then retrospectively involve the police. So I think you're right in what you're saying in that it is initially the village hall, but I think we need to understand how we are going to make sure that people that we invite to a location are kept safe.
Okay. Right, so we need to consider this a bit further and do some more research into it then,
I think
as
so.
to the implications on the parish council itself.
So I will be happy to.
You'll be happy to do
Happy
that
to do
research.
it.
Okay,
Can
thank
I
you.
suggest we add the playing field committee to the list of people you notify, because they also have community space?
They do.
And could I ask a personal question of how does this impact community activities in private dwellings? Does anyone know?
No.
So I'm thinking Catworth Rocks, silent auction, etc.
Okay, so could you
So
put
I've
that
got
on
some
the
questions there to
then?
answer. Yeah,
Okay.
I will do the research.
I know that there was some information out from NALC about Martin's Law. They've been reporting on it quite a bit over the last 2 or 3 months in their newsletters. So I'd suggest that's first point of contact for us, Chris. And whether they do have any webinars or anything like that going on.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
So thank you very much. (138) Clerk's report. The chair and the clerk attended the climate change The Chair and the Clerk attended, this is HDC's Climate Change Conference last Wednesday on the 5th of November at the Burgess Hall in St Ives. We both find it was very interesting. I did say I would do a report, so it was only just a few days ago, so it's a little late to present a report for everybody today, so I will do that in time for next meeting. On that. Yes, there's nothing urgent to be done as a result of it, so I will provide a report next month.
Thank you.
Item 139, Finance Budget Reports. 139.1, to note that the precept request for 2026 to 27 notification was received from HDC, and the Finance Advisory Group are working on the draft proposals. We will be presenting these at the December meeting, so that we can present them as a draft in December for Council to then vote on them in January prior to the deadline of the 16th of January. So we will come back to everybody.
Just as the clerk has shared, it's just a one form, one figure number. Just so that everyone's clear.
Yeah, on the actual precept form we don't have to say how we got to it, we just say what we want. But obviously internally and within here we do need to know how we come to that figure. Thank you. 139.2 was deferred from previous meetings. Proposal is to approve and appoint the CAPALC Internal Audit Services as our internal auditor for 25 to 26, following the retirement of our previous independent internal auditor. So I think Jeff has been looking into...
I propose that we do go with them because they represent good value for money and they also know what we do. And I think it was £100, which, you know...
It's a very reasonable fee.
It's a no-brainer, as they say. So, yeah,
okay.
I'll have a second.
Yeah. So how do we go about doing that? Will you do that?
Yeah, I will sign the
it's just a
agreement.
form on the website, isn't it, to do it?
Yeah. Okay, thank you for looking into
No,
that.
that's fine.
I'm having a look there, that's
Getting
great.
our knowledge up to date.
So could I please have a first approver for that, please? So you're first approver?
Yeah,
and seconder? Yes, all those in favour? Thank you.
Thank you.
So CAPALC Internal Audit Services are appointed then. So we'll pass that over to Ramuna to do the necessary paperwork with them. Thank you. 139.3, an update on adding new signatories to the bank records from myself. So, since last month, I think everybody should now have access. You've had everything through from the bank. Do we all now have that access?
I've got to do mine still, but
I've
got everything.
You've got everything you need
yeah.
to do it. Yeah, I know yours is the last one to come through. So if that's the case, good, finally. We now do have a couple of people to now finally remove, as we don't need their services anymore. So I will initiate that removal, and then I will need someone to second that, because everything has to be authorised and seconded. So I have another member of the finance group.
I'm happy to do that.
To
yeah.
second,
Yeah.
okay, yeah. So that's just to get the final removals of ex-councillors done.
Can I just ask, who here has actually made a payment on Lloyd's Bank?
So myself,
I've
and Chris did last one.
And you've done the last one?
I approved.
You approved on the
Yes.
site, yeah. Okay.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
great. So if we can share it
So
around.
we know that at least 2 people can at the moment, and hopefully the rest of you now you should be able to do so. Yeah. So 139.4, to note bank balances, bank reconciliation, income and expenditure, and financial comparison reports issued to the 31st of October 25. So Ramuna forwards all these reports to us each month. The result of all that is that the closing balance as of the 31st of October 25 is £25,343.67. So So noted. 139.5 to approve the November 2025 payments, noting that Lloyds Bank do make a monthly service charge of £4.25 to service the account for us. So this is shown on the monthly bank reconciliation. That is down as a direct debit, I think. Yes, so we don't have to specifically authorise that one each time. So the November payments, we have £162 to the Community Heartbeat Trust for their annual support cost, £473.91 to Empower for September's street lighting energy costs, and then confidential item of £597.13, giving a total amount to approve this month of £1,233.04. Do I have an approver, please?
I will approve, but can I just say, in previous months we've had the gross and the net and the VAT element, because bearing in mind that we can recover the VAT. So while it might look alarming that it's £635 for the month, what we're actually going through our income and expenditure is we are claiming back the VAT. So if we could please just have the gross and the net and the VAT element, just so that we're clear, rather than the repetition of numbers. And then, yes, I'm happy to propose.
Okay, yes, that's a good idea. So we can see how much it's actually costing us. Would that be doable?
Oh, it should be.
Yes.
Yeah, it was done in previous months. So,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
I think it's just probably an
ticking a box.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
I'm sure it's a simple thing. Yeah.
So Jeff to approve, and could I have a seconder please on these payments?
Yeah, I'll second
So Dan to second, and all those in favour?
Correct
Yes.
initials now.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
So could I have we did agree that we would sort of keep rotating round who approves the payments now that we can all do so. So myself and Chris did last month. So who would like to be the approvers this month then? Who'd like to have a go?
Well, as we haven't done it, should we
Yeah, that's
have a
right.
go? Yeah.
And because I haven't activated mine yet.
No,
No,
do it
okay.
next month. Yeah.
So Jeff and Janine this time then?
Yeah.
Yes? Okay. So we need to know, Ramona needs to know because she has to set it up. Who's the first one? You don't need to know who's first. Right, okay, that's fine then.
It's all set up.
So as soon as you've got it, you'll send them the
I've
mail to
already
us.
done
It's
it.
already
It's
on
already
there.
there.
Yeah.
Marvellous.
So you log in and go into approve of payments.
Right.
Whoever gets there first, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
If you can then let the second person know that it's then ready for them to do. So if they agree between you who's going to go first and who's going to go second, that would be great. Thank you very much. Good. Fingers crossed. Any problems, let me know. 139.6 was a proposal to approve the clerk's overtime, which has been worked over the last 2 or 3 months, ready for payment in December. The clerk has actually requested that we defer that approval until December, because she's given us some details about that overtime which we've not yet all had time to have a look at.
Yep.
So yes, so she's done us a long report on that. So thank you very much for that report. So that's really helpful. So I'd suggest that the finance group will have a look at that,
Yes.
and then we can give our approval,
Yep.
our recommendation for approval next time.
So it will be January payment.
So then it will be a January. Yes.
Yep.
Assuming we approve it.
Yeah, hell no.
Or do we try and get it in December? If we
We can consider and approve in the same month. We can do. We'll see what the recommendations are from the finance group.
So always do payroll at the very last day of the month.
Oh, okay, fine.
So and that covers the previous month.
Yes.
So we'll work in contact.
Okay. Yep. Thank you. Item 140 on SIL, to note that we have left £3,475.18 to pay.
Sorry.
Now, I know there is, the finance group are actually looking into this because we believe that the reporting on the way that VAT has been treated is incorrect. So I think, are we,
The
do you want
number-
to report that now, or do you
Yes.
want to wait?
Yes,
Okay.
I would rather report it
Yeah.
now. So the SIL we have to spend within a certain period of time, and the declarations that have been submitted in recent years, we receive the income outside the scope of VAT. We pay, well, it includes VAT. Because we recover the VAT, we should be reporting the amount on the form to Hunts District Council as net, and it's been reported as gross. So consequently, and we've received email confirmation that the SIL is a certain number, and that number, which we've, as a result of our training courses, we've challenged, and actually we owe, if they came back for the SIL that's been unspent for the last 5 years, is currently £147. You've got the precise number, but because of the way it's been reported, we actually owe a little bit more, another £1,000. So it's due to the form being filled in incorrectly, reviewed incorrectly, and the interpretation of the number that goes in a box has been filled in wrong. So after all of that explanation, I've completely confused everybody, but we owe more if they were asked for it today. So in the spirit of transparency, we should go to Hunts District Council and tell them of the oversight, because it's an error, but we've got it confirmed by the various parties that we've been on the training for.
Yeah.
So that number needs to be revised, and you have the number, but I'll put it in writing again.
So the finance group is proposing that we write, the finance group will put the letter together. We write to HDC to tell them about the incorrect reports we've been given at the end of each year. Tell them it was an oversight, and ask them if they would be happy to waive that oversight.
No,
we're not even going to
ask them to waive it.
Okay,
we'll
all
ask
right
them to we should be transparent, and for the benefit of the tape, we should do exactly what we should be doing. So I'm happy to draft it, and then if you can send it as the responsible financial officer, that would be great. And what they will decide to do afterwards, we will respect their wishes. But we are not going to ask them to waive it in the email.
Okay. Yes, are we in agreement with that?
Agreed, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Jeff. Thank you. Item 141. To conduct the outstanding annual reviews of the following PC policies over the course, we're doing this over several meetings, as they have been deferred several times. So where are we up to? Standing orders, I think last time Chris said you'd have a little look at this one. Have you had a chance to do so yet?
I haven't completed that one.
That's fine. Okay, we'll defer that as and when you can. Brilliant. I know we're all very busy and doing this all in our spare time. It takes time. Thank you. 141.2, the new model financial regulations. I think in your absence last month, Jeff, it was suggested that...
Somebody else did it?
No, that perhaps you would like to look at this one to make sure that it all seems
well, I
correct.
suppose, yes, it does seem sensible.
With your
I should have
advanced
a go.
finance knowledge.
Yeah, thank you for the flattery. Yeah, I'll do it, yes, of course.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So we'll leave you to, at some point, have a look at that.
Yep.
So defer that one, please. 141.3, the Code of Conduct Policy. I think last month Ollie said he would have a look.
Not done yet.
Not
so
done yet,
defer that
so
one.
defer that. I know you have been looking at some other ones as well. 141.4 is the financial risk assessment, and to note the risk summary and register. Again, I think you'd already said, Jeff, you were going to
Yes.
look into that one.
And I will do so
Yep.
as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
I'll look at the
So
numbers.
we'll leave that with you
Yeah.
as and when you can.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
So deferred on that one. We have several risk assessments here which Ollie has been looking at. Ollie, would you like to tell us where we're up to
Yeah,
with
so
those, please?
I've done 141.5, the risk assessment for the recycling bins. I've done 141.6, which is the list picking, and we've actually used that one with Janine on the recent event. 141.8, I have an action to talk with Mike about, because I don't fully understand the process we're going through, which means that it doesn't quite make sense in the forms. 141.10, which is the footpath one, is the one I'm work in progress at the moment.
Okay.
My suggestion was going to be I'll just share them as a block rather than drip feeding.
Rather than drip feeding.
So I've done half
Okay.
of them, and I'll hopefully have the other half done before next meeting.
Lovely.
Can I just add on the point 141.8, Mike's report stated, I know we've got a lot of information in there, but that the provider has gone into administration. So
we have that to report on later in the meeting.
yes, so again that should be.
At the moment it won't be in the risk assessment.
No,
the risk
no.
assessment is for personal safety. It may need to fall into actually is the Ambassador Parish Council asset?
Yes.
In which case it probably needs to fall into either financial,
Yes.
general parish council risk assessment.
Yeah.
So will you put that onto one of yours too?
Yeah.
The financial side to look at. Okay, thank you.
So with apologies, I've jumped over 141.7 and...
No, that wasn't
.9.
yours, it was just the risk
Yeah.
assessments, yeah. So 141.7, civility and respect protocol. Chris is waiting for some information through from me. Apologies, Chris, I haven't yet provided you with that. Yes, I will. It is on my to-do list. So we will need to defer that one. 1.8 we've mentioned, 141.9, policy for meetings with developers pre and post application. I don't think we've had anyone put their hand up to look at this one, to review it. Would anybody like to do so?
I looked at doing one of the CAPALP courses first, so that I've got probably a better understanding of that side of things.
Right.
I had trouble enrolling on it, if I'm honest.
Oh, okay. Which course was that?
It was a planning one. I can't remember the exact name of it. And I did contact them and say, to me it meant that I needed to individually be a member. That's how I read it. No, so I asked them and then they said, oh, yeah, okay. And the times on them, they're all weekday. Are they online though? Can you do the course at any time? Because most of them seems, anyone who's got a normal job has no chance of doing any of them. They all seemed like they were like 10 o'clock on a Tuesday morning.
Yeah.
Or,
Yeah, it's 10 o'clock on Tuesdays or Thursdays.
yeah.
Same here, I cannot.
Yeah, I can't. I'll never be able to do one.
If it's during the school holidays, I can do
But
them.
then I read
school.
further along that you pay for it and then it's available for a year or something, it said.
Oh, if it's from Nimble session.
Yeah, the e-Nimble.
Okay.
One of the ones was, you
that-
sent an email about e-Nimbles.
Is that from that section? Like, so it means you're given a year to complete it and you do it individually in your own time.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So that's just for specifically the e-Nimble.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
So
mean, we
you
digress
can
now,
do
we
it
get onto
anytime
training.
you
But
can. And they
Okay.
will send you links.
Okay.
So if at some point
Yeah,
then you can.
I don't feel that I've got enough understanding to review and rewrite that one at the moment. but
Okay. So we will...
Unless anybody else has, then they can do it. But
You can wait.
Okay. I'll put you down as on that one
okay.
at some point, yes, to defer it. Thank you very much. 141.11 was a cyber security checklist. Now, I know, Chris, you've been looking at various, you sent us an email, was it today or yesterday?
Yes.
Yes, to roll in with the social media, filming, information, data protection and IT policies. Now, my recollection is that Council did approve those, the rest of them, not the checklist, but we did approve them last month, so we don't need Council to approve them again.
It was subject, was it not subject to
It was just about getting the footnotes and the common formatting. But I think Council last month said that we would approve it for you, and assuming that you would put those in, because that's not something that's going to actually affect the wording of the policies.
Yes.
By doing that.
Well, if you're happy with the policies as they stood.
Yeah, so I think the intention was we were happy for you just to pop those footnotes in and then submit to Ramuna to publish. So
So the problem with the footnotes is
Okay.
we were applying the history, the review history,
Yeah.
on every page of the document, and it was taking around 10% of the document space up. So I've reduced that to only what's actually necessary when it was issued and when it was reviewed.
That should be sufficient, shouldn't it? I mean, Ollie, you've been doing the footnotes.
Yeah,
From when it was issued and when it's last reviewed. To have every review, I don't think needs to be on the actual policy itself.
It doesn't have to be.
Reviews.
It's our choice. What I've done on the other ones is remove it from the footnote and have it solely in the first paragraph. So in the document status.
Document history.
Yeah, the other issue that I've found is that it's inconsistent within the same document. So we'll have different information in two different places.
Yeah.
So my suggestion is we choose one and just use one place, and a single place at the head of the document feels like the most effective.
So we can do like version control at the very bottom of the document, the table, would that be?
So usually what you have is a version control,
Yeah.
the first thing in the document, and you have the sort of first version modified, listed under it, and then you don't try and put it on the footer of every page.
It's the review status that's the important bit there. I don't necessarily think we need version control that shows 4 years, 5 years, 6 years worth of reviews. You know, is it current? When was it last reviewed? When should it next be reviewed? The questions we're trying to answer.
I mean, I think that should be sufficient.
Yeah, and we had when we originally discussed the document titles, we said that we could just have a method by which the title itself told you what the status of the document was.
Yeah.
So, and I think what we agreed at the time was if there's a set of initials afterwards, it's mid-review and that's the person who's responsible for it.
Yeah.
If there was a date afterwards, that was the point at which the document had been approved.
Agreed. So there are multiple documents that overlap, particularly in the IT space. So your cyber security, your email policy, your IT policy. I've stopped short in this instance of merging multiple types of document together, but I think that is the next logical step. So what I've tried to do with those documents, and whether we stick with what's issued currently and hold off to the next review point, I really have no preference. But what I've tried to do is come in with a common template so the documents look the same, and so members of the public can dip in and out and they're familiar. The documents as they stand, particularly standing orders document, is a very cumbersome document to read. And we've got a lot of documents that have come in, different people have put a policy together to solve a particular problem. And it becomes difficult to move across the document space. So that was my thinking there.
Okay. I mean, I think at the moment, because we're going into everything in the nth degree, to then start consolidating as well when we've already approved things. Personally, I think we should leave the policies and then to make a note that when they come up for review next time, we've already done all this work, so then we can look at can we consolidate some of these.
Well, some of the document I think we need to title as they are. We can't change them because they come from NALC and it's not like...
Yeah, I mean, standing orders we can't really change.
Regulations, like
that is what it is.
Standing orders we can't, but we could have a combined IT policy and security checklist, or IT policy.
As long as it says both names, I'm fine.
Yeah,
as long as it's there, because okay, that's for audit.
Right. Yes, so we have to consider audit as well. Yeah. Okay. Yes, thank you, Chris. So as far as the ones we approved last month, if you can do what you, Ollie, because you've been doing the bulk of these, what you've agreed, condense that footnote, put all the information in one place, so whether it's at the beginning of the document or the end of the document, what we're doing at the beginning of the document, do you think is better rather than the end?
Or potentially we're double handling things again here.
So my suggestion is there's an awful lot of these are well overdue being approved. So
Yep.
our primary obligation is to get them approved.
Yep.
And then have an agreed approach to consolidate and reformat the documents that happens as we progress over time.
Okay.
So I think the first thing that you've got to do is just get them all read and
Yep.
approved by the council.
Yep.
Yeah.
And where it's easy to make them the same format, great, do it. But
Okay.
where it's tricky, just get them through.
Okay. So I'll leave that with you then. So it's just the cyber security checklist then is the only thing that's outstanding, I think, on the IT side of things.
So that was a new policy,
Yeah.
completely new policy, and
Yeah.
we were waiting for feedback really on that. So,
For feedback from...
councillors, review.
Right, okay. Have we had that? Have you...
I
produced that
haven't
for
had
us?
anything back, so I don't know whether that means that people are happy with it or...
Okay, so I think maybe with all the others coming through, it's sort of slipped the net for most people to look at. Would you mind
Yeah.
providing that for councillors again to make sure that we look at it for next month then, please, Chris? Sorry.
Absolutely.
I know,
No problem.
yeah. Okay, thank you. And then the final one, 141.12, website accessibility statement. That one, nobody seems to have put their name down to review that one. So is
So
that sort of IT related as well?
It is IT related. I will take that one on, but that's related to the training that potentially we were discussing as being appropriate. So I will. Was that
Thank you very much.
the 4th of December, that training?
Oh yeah, the one I shared.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, yep, thank you. Okay, moving on. 142, highway issues in the village. 142.1, National Highways Social Value Fund. We have an application outstanding to National Highways for the restoration of the Catworth War Memorial. I've chased up National Highways again for a reply on this. I did get a very quick response last week to say we're looking very favourable, and they were hoping to have an answer for us by today, but obviously they haven't. So maybe next month.
But we have identified somebody who can spend that money and restore it, have we?
Yes, yeah, we
We
have a
have,
quotation.
we
Yeah,
have.
we provided them with a quotation,
Correct.
so yes,
Okay.
yes, that's all identified. Yeah. So that was identified sort of 6 months
Yeah.
ago.
Good.
So just waiting to see if we get the funding for it. So next month, hopefully we will. 142.2. To note that the decision on the funding application for this year's 20 mile an hour zone, which we applied for through Church Road and Church End, the decision has been received from CCC Highways Committee. Catworth were unsuccessful this time. 11 schemes out of 98 applications across the county were approved for funding this year. We were ranked about halfway up the list. So compared to last year's application, we have moved a long way up, because last year I think we were next to bottom on their criteria for applying for that. So we're obviously gradually moving up that list. Yeah, that's just to note that decision. I think on the correspondence list, if I can find that somewhere, we did have a little bit more information on that, yes. We were ranked 52. Sorry, it was 95, not 98. 52 out of 98. So we're moving up. Our county councillor, Ian Gardner, was apparently vocal at the cabinet meeting to say that he was very disappointed at the lack of funding for the rural areas. The county council only gave the funding for more built-up areas for the 20 mile an hour. He put the point that many in his constituency, like ourselves, have narrow lanes with no pavements, and with access along them, is being required by children and older people to facilities such as churches and village halls. So they have to walk along on that narrow roads. So he has put that to Cabinet, but obviously to no avail this time. They weren't interested in giving anything to the rural areas. So maybe another time. 142.3, to consider ongoing HGV issues in the village. Now, I know I sent a photo of a situation I encountered about 3 weeks ago, and we have literally just had a video sent to us from Brinkton Parish Council's chair, who apparently he commutes through Catworth daily. He sent a video of an issue with HGVs. I suggest that at the moment, because time is getting on, and we've not really had a chance to consider that video because it's only come through in the last day or two, I suggest that we defer this issue until next month. If everybody's okay with that. Well, it could be a lengthy conversation. Yes?
Yeah.
Move on?
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll defer that till next month to give everybody time
Just
to look at
what are we
those.
actually deferring though? Because is there anything
to consider whether we should try and do anything about the
okay. As long as we know what we're deferring.
HGVs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just to
We'll come with some ideas.
consider what these issues are. Yeah. And is there anything we can do?
Okay.
Could I just briefly have a quick input, because I won't be here at the next meeting. And I did do a little bit of background work because I think it comes into my work group. So just before we do move on, am I able just to pass little information that I passed out
Yes.
that may be helpful to discuss further?
Yes, please.
It may tie in with Speedwatch in that there is a similar way of broaching HGVs coming through areas that are restricted, like our own 18-ton restriction. There is also a scheme which is HGV Watch, whereby it's a voluntary community-run scheme that ties in with the police, and you report HGVs that are noted, you note their registration, pass them on to the police, and they then write to the registered owner of that vehicle. So there is a scheme in place by Cambridgeshire Police that would be able to perhaps take that forward for us. So there maybe is something further to discuss, but like I said, I won't be here for the next meeting.
Okay.
That perhaps could be something we could do. Moving forward.
Okay, yes, that's interesting, thank you.
And we also have the neighbourhood police, which, if we raise as an issue, have like drop-in sessions, online meetings and other stuff where we can again raise issues to say, this is an issue for our village. Perhaps you could do a little more to help us try and address this. So again, I think that there are ways forward that might just help us take this in positive ways. I've got the HGV Watch. The way to get that started, there's an email address which is just hgbwatch@cams.police.uk, and that would be the first point of contact to get the ball rolling.
I think I've seen the signs
Yeah.
as you go into some villages. It's
Yeah.
got a HGV Watch.
Yeah. It's very similar to Speedwatch. It's just capturing slightly different vehicles, different offences.
Yes.
So HGV Watch, all as one word, @cams.police.uk.
Okay.
And then like there's other drop-in sessions, like Coffee with a Cop is one. They've got meetings at Cafe Nero in St Neots at certain times. They have police surgeries, and there's community engagement online as well. So there's different ways.
This is all the neighbourhood police.
This is neighbourhood policing is one thing. HGV Watch is separate, but they were both police-led. Sorry to hijack that.
No, that's, no.
It's very helpful, thank you.
You've already done some research, thank you very much. Yes, very helpful, so we will incorporate that into our discussions next time.
So I think there is a very specific problem with HGVs, but that's not the only issue with traffic. So I think we need a bit of time, a fair bit of time in the agenda when we do come to this, because there is specific problems with motorcycles. And there's a couple of pinch points that perhaps we could consider what we could possibly do there. A couple of those blind bends. I mean, where I sit on the corner of Station Road and Church Road, while I'm doing washing up, I'm watching the HGVs approaching that corner from two directions, completely unaware of each other's presence, and they regularly meet on that corner and swerve into the mouth of Church Road, off Station Road and High Street. It's only a matter of time before there's
well, that was a photo I think I sent round to you all, where I was trying to come out of Church Road, and there were two HGVs stuck like that.
Yeah. I mean, I've got countless videos like that we've taken.
Okay, so we've got quite a bit of evidence then.
It's what to do with it and how to manage it.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. So we will have a further proper consideration of that another time. Good. 143, to receive reports from councillors arising from their portfolio responsibilities in accordance with their finalised positions as agreed at September meeting. So, do we have anything further other than what we've already talked about on highways from either Janine or Chris?
I've got a wee bit. So, we've our own village highways. We were talking about the drains last time and checking them out, and perhaps when we have heavy rain, trying to get together to photograph them and put them on the report it system for the council. Sorry if I've missed a few of these. When I've looked out when the rain's been really heavy, it's been night time or, on social, or I've missed the opportunity, I've not been here. I have, however, as I've been walking my dogs through the village, been trying to check all the drains as I've gone, and quite a few I've just kicked the leaves off the top and can see how much clearance there is underneath. There's the one there that I think down, I don't know if you reported it, but there's certainly the one on Station Road is already on report it. It has been for a little while. The one here on Church Road, I've reported. I took photos of when it was flooded. That water's going nowhere, is
two
it?
on Church Road.
Where's the other one?
Precisely. It's all overgrown, so it's cascading down. So,
Well, I did take photographs because you can clearly see the way the water runs down the road to the church. So I put those photographs as well. They've been submitted.
It freezes in winter as well.
Absolutely. But I haven't really found many more, so I was going to just ask your help that if you are aware of any others which I've not captured, if either you could pop them on there or just pass them to me with the what 3 words and I'll log them on the system. That's absolutely fine. I'm more than happy to do that.
They like to have photos, don't they?
Yeah. The what 3 words location and photograph are really, really helpful. I don't know if you all use what 3 words, but it's a brilliant piece of kit, brilliant app. And it's to the meter, so they can't miss it.
So have you logged already the ones at Church End? Well, the junction of Church End and Church Road that the member of the public mentioned?
Oh no, I wasn't aware of those. I wasn't aware. I don't know if that is the drain further down.
So it's the one where Church End meets Church Road, the water comes down Church End, and then the leaves are coming off the tree, and then I believe that they're getting blocked then. Must be one fairly near to the post box.
I've been having a look down there. It's really quite hard when it's so leafy because, I'm kicking where I think there should be a drain, but I can't kick my way down all of them, so I have struggled a little bit, but a lot of them was just the leaves, and when I cleared the leaves off the top, it looked like there was clear drainage. So, I don't know. So any help that anyone can give me with that would be appreciated. Thanks.
Okay.
Do they take videos as well? Or was it just stills?
Well, I've not tried actually.
Okay.
I think possibly just a photo.
Okay.
It's probably just a photo.
There are
So
different
I've not
formats
tried
you can attach, so we need to check what format is available, and that's the one.
That has a much more powerful impact.
Yeah.
I think maybe video needs to be sent by email best.
Okay.
But we can check.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for having a look, starting to have a look and trying to cover them all around the village. That's really helpful. Thank you. The next step then is, if nothing gets done with those ones that are blocked, is then to have a sort of system of chasing up. But Let's see if they manage to do anything in a reasonable amount of time. From what we've heard so far, some things, maybe not. Thank you. Item 143.2, public footpaths. The footpath group has done one more walk since last meeting. I've given you a written report on that. Any questions at all? Fairly straightforward, I think. That one. Yeah. So that is the situation as well. The footpath we went round, where we're waiting for County Council to do some repairs. So that has been ongoing for some time, that particular one. So we will keep chasing them on that. So the footpath group will probably go a little bit dormant now. Now that the weather's starting to set in, it's going colder, makes a lot of the public footpaths a little impassable. So we will do what we can. 143.3, MVAS. We've received a written report from our volunteer who handles that, from Mike, who's here today. Any questions on that at all?
The only question I had was the comment that was made because the company has gone into administration. What impact that has on any support or analytical data that comes out, because we were going to look at it and then publish it. I don't know whether we've got an update on that.
Other than
Because
just
it's only
it's been
happened in the
reported.
last few days, so
It has.
at the end of October, according to Companies House.
Yep. So
Does it
all that
become
we've said
redundant,
is that once the
unsupported?
administration issues are resolved, which presumably is still ongoing.
Well, as it's only, it will take probably 18 months or so.
Oh right, okay.
So it's not an easy one to fix, but do we have still access to that data? Is it still worth using it?
So we can still access the data. I think it's just that if anything goes wrong with the unit, there's no backup.
Well, again, let's not say think, let's get the definitive answer. Yeah.
Well, we know we can still use the data because it's on.
No,
our
but
laptop.
going forward, so
I see what you mean.
yes.
Yes.
So we've got the historic.
Yes.
If we wanted to go out in the depths of January and start using it, is it worth it? Because we might not be able to access the data. So is it supported? Because the administrator would obviously be looking to sell the business, so hopefully it would. Do we need to?
Mike may have some information on that.
Yes.
Are we okay to just close the meeting then for a moment to ask him to answer that question? Thank you, Mike.
Very quick. Essentially, it's self-supporting. It's only if it breaks down that we'll not get the data out of it.
Okay.
Which is what happened. Well, it's what happened. This is why I got involved with, because I got involved with Norton Parish Council because they couldn't get their machine to work.
Mm-hmm.
As long as our machine keeps working, we'll still keep getting the data. There's no ongoing daily support comes in from Morlock to provide it. What I do know is that Morlock don't build those machines. I think they're a German machine. So there will be the support is available. We've not actually, I've not actually gone out to try and find out what would happen if, which I think is your question. I've not asked that question because it's functioning, it's working, and the world won't end.
No, but if we were to go out and use it tomorrow, is my point, can we get the data out? Because
it's always on. Yeah. The data, I just go and take the data off the machine on a regular basis, clean it down, and then.
Yeah, but then there's a facility to do that. Somebody's doing that for. Are we
No, we
paying
do it
for-
ourselves.
Oh, okay.
It's an app.
But the application, the app,
we don't need more lock
Fine.
or anything at this stage.
Okay, good.
It's only when the device itself ceases to work.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha. Good. Thank you.
Sorry.
That's encouraging.
Yeah, and since they don't manufacture it,
Sorry, we'll
okay.
open the meeting again.
Yeah, so there's a chance that someone else can take over looking after it, supplying parts for it too.
Good. So it doesn't become redundant.
No.
And then we'll look at the data.
Yeah, so we can still get the data, we can still provide the
Yeah.
data, it's just if it actually breaks.
Yeah.
So maybe at some point we can ask Kim Bolton whether they've managed to solve it before ours does break. See what happens.
Right, hopefully it's
Thank you.
built to last.
143.4, trees and hedges, Actually, we've already talked about trees in the open section earlier on, about the plane tree. So I think Ramona, perhaps you, well, I can do some chasing up of Ian there, as I'm the tree officer for the village. So I will chase up Ian Gardner about the plane tree, about the chestnut tree. And we also had a report from a member of the public about a tree that had a tree preservation order on it. Earlier this week was being pruned and felled. So I investigated with HDC, and they confirmed that they had received notification of that being done, and they'd sent an, I can't say the word, arboricultural officer out to inspect the tree. And it was confirmed that it was diseased, it was dying, it was at danger of toppling. So HDC had no objection to them removing that tree. So this was at 41 Station Road. But HDC did advise them that they should be replacing that tree within the current best planting season. So in other words, by the spring, so over the winter, that they should be replacing it with a tree of a certain size. So because it had a TPO on it, HDC's concern is that if all of our old ash trees all get removed, we'd have no canopy over the village. So it's just to make sure we have some sort of renewal going on. So they confirmed that is a condition. So.
One of the two trees on the verge out the front of my house is actually dead as well. So how do we report that to highways as it's on the verge?
Yes. Okay,
that's
so
fine.
we've had some other instances there on other verges as well, where we've reported to highways.
I think you can do that
On
on
the
the report
system,
it.
yes.
Yes,
Yeah,
on
you can
the
do it
reported
directly on
system.
there.
Yeah.
I did it and they came back really quick and put 2 new trees in, just like that.
Oh right, that's what.
One of them, unfortunately,
One of them has died. Yeah.
Jeff, you didn't water enough.
Well, yeah.
It's not his land.
I saw him out there with it, mate.
At least one of them has survived, though. So,
Yes.
yeah. So 1 for 1, I suppose. You put 2 in, and hopefully one of them will. Yes. Other than that, it's been noted that roadside hedges have recently been cut by the farmers, with many thanks. I think they've missed one little section, but I don't think we have much chance of getting them to cut that, unfortunately.
Where's that?
On Church Road.
On Church Road.
Oh right.
About halfway down towards the church.
Okay,
Yes.
Understood.
The farmer has decided
Yes,
that he's
anyway.
not going to cut that bit. Okay, I'll explain afterwards. 143.5, grass cutting. Nothing going on at the moment.
There is one more invoice which I'll take for payments in December.
Okay, and that will be the last cut then of this season.
And that will then be on balance. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. 143.6, street lights. Dan, anything to report?
Yes, I've spent 5 hours so far this week reading through the quality information that I've now got, and it's all starting to make sense now. So by the next meeting, I will have a summary that I can present.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it's.
So just to say, Ramona and I.
Section dedicated.
Oh, I need a dedicated
Ramona
section.
and I went through all the papers that Ramona had.
Yeah, I got a
and I delivered a
documents.
load to Dan, just so.
Like that.
Well done.
Yeah, it's there was lots of duplicates, so I've gone through it all, and we'll keep it all obviously, but I'm going to scan in the key documents so that we've got them electronically as well.
And make sure that everyone reads them.
Make sure everyone reads them.
Put it to an appropriate chat.
Yes, I've got almost all the information I need to be able to do what I need to do now.
Right, to then. This is it. Sometimes it's just assimilating the information, isn't it? So you can actually then do something with it. So
interestingly, what I don't have is, so there's a lot of proposal documentations of, if there's plans of, this is where we propose to have the street lights or the replacement ones. There's no commissioning or documentation once it's finished. So I've got big plans, but they're all proposals. There's no as is when it was completed.
Oh, right.
Normally you'd get like a completion pack.
Mm.
But we can go to the installer, can't we?
I guess so.
Yeah. Because we paid for it, so
a lot
it's done.
of the diagrams and the plans, though, seem to be Balfour Beatty, which we didn't go with them, did we?
So there's some documentation from Peacocks?
Yes, there is documentation from Peacocks,
But not the completion documentation?
No, and the map's quite useful, to be honest, which is Balfour Beatty's.
Mm. Okay.
But I plan to put it all in a spreadsheet to the desired county council layout, and I'll use what 3 words as well for the locations. Probably a lot of the identifiers on them are broken, some are missing, so I do need to investigate, because that's useful to have a number on them. The numbering scheme is a bit wild as well. Some of them are PC and then a number, PC 0 and then a number.
Well,
PC.
as these are in our fixed asset
Yes.
register as well,
so we might need to invest in a new
inventory. Okay.
A tagging scheme. And, just one that says if this is faulty, like you see, please send a message to this number and quote this. I think would be sensible. But it's progressing anyway.
Well, thank you very much.
No, thanks for digging out all the information.
I did warn you it might be a bit of a big job.
Yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. Now I've got useful information. It's not a problem at all.
No, that's great. Thank you very much. Yes, I know this is going to be work in progress for some time, this one.
Yeah.
Thank you. 143.7 winter gritting. Chris, anything further going on here?
All the bins are full.
All bins are full,
ready
good.
to go already. No further feedback from the highways team on the gritting as a primary route along Church Lane. So I will carry on.
I feared this, this is what, Ramona and I have been trying to get it for the last 3 years, and we just never got replies. Never got anything back.
I'll keep trying.
Okay, thank you very much. Good. I think the finance group, we had some questions about ownership and risk assessment for the volunteer who does the pavement gritting. Have you passed those requests through to Chris?
I haven't. I thought we came to the conclusion that it wasn't our gritter, therefore it was
oh, right, okay.
Public Expenditure County.
So just pause a moment. Sorry. Someone's mobile phone going off. That's a good loud one. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I think we concluded that it wasn't Catworth Parish Council property, therefore there was no further action required from us.
Right. Okay, fine. Yeah. And risk assessment as well, we concluded that because the volunteer works is actually volunteering for Cambs County Council, not us, we don't need to do the risk assessment for him. So we just facilitate and keep in contact with him.
Okay.
So, okay, thank you very much. 1438.8, I'm getting my numbers wrong now. 143.8, litter picking. We had a written report from Janine. Has everybody read that report? Yes, quite straightforward there. So we did say the litter pick occurred just before the last meeting, so thank you very much to you for organising that.
Was it worthwhile because this is the first time that we've done an autumn one?
Second time.
Second time, is it? Okay.
Second time we've done an autumn one. We did an autumn one last year as well. It's the first time we've done it on a Sunday. So it's always been done on a Saturday before. Whether that made any difference?
I don't know, about the same amount of people as normal, I think, turned up, didn't they?
Yeah, but some litter was collected,
yes,
so that's
thank
the main
you to
aim
everyone
of
that
it.
helped.
So yes, good. So thank you very much. 143.9 community matters. sort of myself. I do the communications on Facebook, on Village Matters. One thing I did want to bring up is just general communications with the village, because I've had quite a few villagers before say to me that they don't do Facebook, they don't read Village Matters, just because they don't think it's anything to do with what they might be interested in. So, and they say, so we don't know what's going on. What does the parish council do? So, should we do a little bit more on this? Should we consider perhaps going out to the parish, doing a mail drop of some sort, and asking people, you know, where would you like to hear about things from? How do you think we should do this? Because, I mean, Facebook, we have our meetings here, we have our website.
Can we take it away and have a think about it? I'm just really conscious of time,
Yeah,
more than anything, and we've still got something else to do as well. But I think this activity here that's introduced is a very useful thing. So they can't say they're not involved, is my gut feel. But can we move it to next month?
Yes, I'm happy to do
Please.
that. To have a bit of talk about that. Yes, fine. 143.10, IT and data control. Ollie and Chris, anything ongoing here? Have we got anything actually ongoing beyond the policies?
I'm not sure whether this falls under this one or 144.
Training.
Well, specifically cybersecurity, because that's what the training is referencing. Cybersecurity stuff is increasingly pushing to multi-factor authentication for access to documents and stuff like that could be confidential. All of our emails contain confidential information, as in specifically confidential items, and I don't believe any of our emails are multi-factor authentication, so we may wish to consider that in future. I don't propose we talk about it now, but I think it's worth noting.
Okay.
You'll be pleased to know that accounts package multi-factor authentication approved. I think that's what it sounds.
Good. Yeah. So the one for me is mainly emails, because that affects all of us.
So we need to talk about this in more detail another time.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
We're
Thank
not
you.
looking at past 10 as well.
Yep. 143.11, asset maintenance. I know, Ollie, you've sent us some information very recently about the bench.
I'd suggest on this, I apologise, it wasn't more than a week at a time, so maybe we discuss at next meeting.
Yeah, I was going to say, I have to say for myself, I've read your email but not the attachments. I've not had time since Monday to do that. So if we can push that through to next month, please.
Just be clear, we have got
Thank you very much, though, for all the work you've done, I would say.
It does align with the budget that we had set for asset maintenance as well, so just so we're aware.
It's within that budget.
Kind of almost sits in it.
Okay. So moving on, 144, training. 144.1, to receive any councillors' reports on training received since last meeting. Has anyone had any training?
Yes, Ollie and I attended some finance training on the date it leaves me at the moment, but it was very useful when we circulated the notes to everybody as well. But yeah, a fruitful hour and 20 minutes or so, although it could have been done quicker.
Do we have the notes to put on the minutes?
I think they're
I have a
already
PDF
attached.
document.
That's the ones that were circulated by you last Friday.
I don't think I can add this to the Word document nicely.
No, don't do it before. But
Okay, thank you.
But yeah, there were some good learnings there. The next thing to do is to elevate it even further as well.
Yep. Okay, thank you very much. I will say that I was due to attend the same finance training I booked in the week before. I have to say, unfortunately, I was unable to attend because I was rather ill that day and I didn't manage to get out of bed that morning. So I do apologise to the council, I was not able to do so. But I have received, Jeff and Ollie attended the same course for a week or two later and they have briefed me on it. So. 144.2, to note that the newly adopted IT policy requires training for clerk and councillors. Now the clerk was asked last time to ask CAPALC if they have such training. So with regard to AGAR and assertion 10. So we now know that on Thursday the 4th of December at 18:30 there is an online training course which I think is free of charge as well.
It is this
Yes, on the assertion 10. And on Thursday the 22nd of January at 18:30 again, is that free as well?
one. Yes.
So it's
but
all
I'm
being
not
provided by
registered to
CAPALC
that one.
on website accessibility.
So
So this will tie into other policies that we're looking at as well. So I know Chris has said he can go, I think, as many of us as possible that can. If we're available, that would be really useful so we get our knowledge base up on all these IT aspects. Since the agenda was issued, we have had further notifications of some training that is available before our next meeting. So there is a sustainability and climate change training by CAPALC on Thursday the 13th from between 10 and 12. This is where they do seem to be doing a lot of these during the working day, which I know is an issue for most of us. If anyone's able to attend, even if it's not your sort of your thing that you're into, if you're able to attend, please do and report back to us. They've got a biodiversity one on Thursday the 27th at 10 till 12. I think you've circulated all these, haven't you? But just to sort of list them out here. If we can have a list on the minutes of them all, of them. Yes.
Trainings.
Yeah.
All of them.
We've got the assertion 10, which we've already mentioned.
So that's in.
There's also now on CAPALC's website a new in-person counsellor training course in St Ives, which is a bit closer than Ely, which I think the last one was. So any new counsellors which will give more on the legal aspects rather than the finance or specific topics. So we'll give you the full overview for counsellors. They talk about it's getting too late.
Is there a date for that, Leslie?
Saturday the 10th of January in St Ives.
Can you just one of
So
us
standing
go in a
orders.
brief or something like that, or share the notes?
I think because it's quite a lot of notes to have to share. So to go in person would be advantageous. Talks about standing orders and legal requirements that we now face. I think goes into FOIs and all this sort of thing as well. I'll leave that with you to consider. There will be a cost on that, but again, just let the clerk know. Okay, that's it on training. Correspondence 145, we've been given a long list of correspondence. Any questions at all on that?
No.
No. Again, we've had some late correspondence in within the last 2 days of things that may need to be attended to before the next meeting. On the 11th of November, we were advised that the next year's local highways LHI funding round is now open until the 16th of January. So we've all had an email about this. There is a link onto CCC's website which says the sort of things that we can apply for. So if you want to have a look at that, if you think there's anything that we should or could or might, perhaps we can bring that to the next meeting. So we have time at the next meeting to do that. Also on the 10th of November, CAPALC wrote to us, emailed us to advise that their AGM will be on Zoom this year and that apparently we must send someone or have someone attend. It seems that it's, as members, they actually said must. So it is on Thursday the 27th of November at 7 o'clock in the evening, their AGM. So I think generally we'll try to be the chair. I've looked in my diary, I do have a prior commitment, so I can't attend. Is there anyone else who could attend? It only needs to be one person on Thursday the 27th.
I'll come back to you, Leslie, because presumably
Yeah, I can't. I'm away, I'm afraid.
Okay. So if everybody could come back on that one, please.
It's a really busy day for me.
I don't think that's been shared with everyone yet, that email. I think you shared it with me because that's only just come through.
But it was invited chair.
It was invited chair?
It was addressed to the chair.
Was it addressed to the chair?
It's the other one, isn't it?
Yeah.
But I can share with
so
anyone.
I will need.
Everyone.
So perhaps if you could share that with everyone, as I definitely can't attend. Please, and if you could let us know. And the final piece of correspondence received just today is about County Council webinar on their budget briefing and draft business plan for the next year, which is on Thursday, 11th of December at 18:30. It's a webinar, so online. I can attend that one. So if anyone else wishes to, please do, but I can certainly do that one and report back. Okay, so it's just that 27th of November. Thank you very much. Councillors' questions, item 146. Any questions at all from anyone? No?
Very quick AOB.
We don't do AOB, we only do
questions. It's an observation for when we talk about community matters and whether we can have a quick form of communicating with the community, because I can tell you from first-hand experience that we have rogue traders in this village. So means of communicating that out to the community, I believe, would be a good thing.
So that's part of what I wanted to talk about within that communication side of things.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you can make a note of that and bring that to next meeting for us, that would be really helpful. Yes, thank you. The only question I had is, we talked about compost last time. I understand that HDC have come back. They've delivered, have they?
They did, yeah.
Oh, where is it?
In the pumpkin field.
Okay.
Yeah, they just let themselves in and put it
Who's it
there.
who owns the pumpkin field? Somewhere. Okay, right.
We did say they could use that, didn't we? But they just didn't. Okay. So to get it out to the community, obviously we have Facebook. I can put a note on there. It's a case of when you'd like to open it up. Do you
How
want
much
to
is there?
Sorry?
How much is there?
Probably a couple of tons. A couple of ton bags, I would say.
Okay.
That's great.
I think they delivered it in a skip, because I saw a skip lorry
Let
himself out as I drove past, and I was like, didn't think anything of it. Then noticed that there's a big pile of compost in there.
I'm sure it'll get used.
So it's a case of when you want to open up the fruit field, and do we want to take last year, I think, or earlier this year when we had some was taken up to the village hall as well.
Yeah.
So would you be happy to?
How was that facilitated last time? Do you know?
I think just an approach to the village hall and asking them. Well, obviously.
No, how did it get from the fruit field to the village hall?
Or was it two separate drops?
There was a drop at the village hall, wasn't there?
Yeah, I don't think.
Did Anthony bring it in his little, his mini tractor? I think.
Yeah,
I think he took some up.
Yeah, he's got a JCB, so he can chuck it in the back of a trailer, but I've obviously got to ask him about that. So.
Yeah.
How did we engage with the village
with
last
the village
time?
hall? Oh, right, okay. Well,
So
with the village hall,
do we say that,
obviously
it's
we
here,
had a village hall member on the council at the time, so that was straightforward.
Yeah.
But,
Do we say it's here, let us know if you're interested?
There's a message on Facebook.
Yeah, we just put on Facebook.
Okay.
So whenever you are willing to open up the field,
Yeah, okay.
we put a message on Facebook to say between these hours on these days.
Okay.
So if you want to let me know, and I'll pop that on as and when. Yeah. I mean, there's no urgency. It's not going to go anywhere, is it?
Yeah. No, that's fine.
So if because you've got the field, you get landed with organising it as well.
Yeah. Well, it's fine, because where it is, if it doesn't get used, it will just get ploughed into the field, so it's perfect, really. Anyone else would be stuck with it, wouldn't they? So.
Okay. So if you let me know the dates, and then I'll...
Yeah, that's fine. I'll find out.
Thank you very much. Anything else at all? No. Item 147, date of the next meeting is Wednesday the 10th of December at 7:30 at the Village Hall here. Council meetings are held on the second Wednesday of each month at 7:30 in the Village Hall. I declare this